Actually, it's 8 because I'm going to give you a bonus tip at the end that we can do right now to get our shops ready for the hopefully busier holiday season ahead. Ready? Good, let's go. Okay, it's going to be no surprise to some of you that I start with this, but photos. Bear with me. Photos do so much more than just make our thing look pretty. We already know that a lot of customers don't see the descriptions, let alone read them. So we have to rely on putting in as much information into our photographs as possible for the buyer. Any kind of important information, regardless of what you sell on what niche, things like shipping times if you ship your items, measurements, always Kim measurements, your return policies, because not everybody reads the policies, let's be honest, whether you offer gift wrapping, whether your item is a PDF download instead of a physical thing. These are some of the things that you can put in your photographs. And I'll kind of touch on this again in a minute, but holiday elements, anything. Sometimes people might want to add a little bit of holiday zhuzh to their photographs. Now, this can look like props within your photographs, but that can mean that you might have to retake your photograph. So sometimes people rely on an element that people can overlay onto their existing photographs. That's something that you could do. Now, here is a picture from a lovely lady who contacted me last year to say that she had seen my video on putting it in your photographs. I'll link it somewhere. And she had implemented that and immediately seen an uptick in sales. And I was supposed to share this last year, but life got ahead of me a little bit. So I contacted her again, and she's been very kind and let me share this within the video. This is her picture, and all she did was add that little element in the corner that added a bit more information to her photograph. And it was this added information that worked with the photograph that tipped some browsers into buyers. So that's how important this can be. And thanks, Kate, for letting me share that story. If you have products that are made specifically as a gift, or if you are promoting your products at this time of the year to be gifts, make sure you have a photograph that shows it as such. Sell that to the customer. When it comes to what information to put in your photographs, you've basically got to sit down and think like a customer. What would they want to know about your product, or what questions would they have, or what problems might they have further down the line? And address those in the photographs, because the more information you can arm your buyers with, the more you can build that trust. You can manage buyer expectations, which can then result in fewer requests for refunds because they've had buyer regrets, and also maybe even negative feedback. So it's one of these things that you can do right at the beginning of the process that really helps all the way to the end. Another piece of good advice with photographs that I've heard is think about your photographs as if the descriptions didn't exist and the photographs was the only way that your buyers could get information. Also, you can flip that with descriptions. Write your descriptions as if photographs didn't exist. And that just means that regardless of which part your customer is looking at, they will get the information that they need. In short, put it in your photographs. I think it's actually been a year since I said that last. So yeah, do that. Now, I did touch on putting things like your postage dates, your shipping times, etc. in photographs. And this brings me to the next thing that you need to focus on, and that is postage. Obviously, you need to do the usual thing, which is like just make sure that your shipping times, rates, and etc. are correct. You also want to check the holiday deadline dates for postage. Here in the UK, we also have Royal Mail postage strikes to contend with, so we need to make sure that our customers know about this, are ready for it, and you can put this in places like your announcement. There's an automated thank you message that you can set up when somebody makes a purchase and have it there too. You can put it in your photographs, your descriptions, etc., etc. And also you can talk about it on social media or wherever else you promote your items. Basically, just start laying the groundwork now that things are going to be slower. Please be patient and maybe get your orders in earlier. That's the message that we, at least in the UK, should be laying down now. Unless by some miracle these strikes don't happen. But that's looking unlikely at the moment. But it's not just here in the UK that we have to worry about things like this. This means that if you are outside of the UK and you are sending to the UK, it's going to affect you too. So please do bear these in mind. And anything else that might slow down the post in your country. It doesn't have to be a strike. It's a busy time, full stop. So communicate with your customers. And for an extra little tip for my fellow UK sellers, I would suggest keeping an eye on the strike information and perhaps even consider bringing forward your cutoff. times, because otherwise you could be very stressed out close to Christmas trying to reassure customers where their items are, and there's going to be very little that you can do about it. So I, for one, am bringing my Christmas deadline date for my physical items earlier. It sucks, but it's where we're at this year, so postage, bear it in mind. And again, link to photographs is your overall shop branding. I hate this one. It's a job that tends to get thrown to the bottom of the to-do list, and yet it always has an impact. So so I mentioned before that you can add seasonal elements or touches to your photographs. You can also do this to your shop banner, your logo. Maybe if you have watermarks or logos in your pictures, that can be what you can add a little seasonal touch to. Basically anywhere where there can be photographs or videos, they're very visual, and these are all things that can be tweaked for the holidays. You don't have to do this. It's just something that could help you stand out a little bit from your competition. Most of the time I find that if there is something that you can do in your shop that takes a little bit more time, because it takes a little bit more time, a lot of people won't do it. This is the thing that I will be focusing on later on today. And obviously this isn't applicable if you have an Etsy store. This is applicable if you have your own standalone website, a Shopify store, anything. A little bit of seasonal zhuzh to your branding goes a long way. And I've already got my banner ready. I can't wait. But I digress, back to it. It seems oversimplistic to say stock up now, but stock up now. So I tend to get my supplies stocked up quite early, but then closer to the time, what I like to do is make sure that I've got some stuff ready to go so that as things start to pick up, I can literally just pick the things up and start packaging. Okay, the next thing is to make a holiday calendar. Yes, I know. Bit boring, but it's really helpful, especially if you're going to do things like promotions, if you are going to try and make use of certain events and dates. It can all get a bit much, and I find that making a calendar, it just helps keep me on track, and I can see day by day, week by week, what I should be talking about, what I should be promoting, what should be done at the end of the day. Just a little visual something to help you keep on track. There we go with the hands again. I'm going to sit on them. No, I can't. I need my notes. Okay, this one is something that I've been guilty of so many times. So take it from a seasoned professional in holiday mistakes. Don't overestimate the time that you have. Kim. The holidays are a busy time, which is probably the understatement of the year. But I have a tendency, like many others, to forget that other things happen as well as work. So I think to myself, it's fine, I've got loads of time. And then I don't factor in the family get-togethers and the office parties and the amount of school stuff that crops up. My God, sometimes my daughter's social life is busier than mine. Not to mention the shopping and the prepping for your own holiday. It all gets a little bit much and eye twitchy towards, I was going to say the end of the month, but let's be honest, quite early on if you're not careful. So don't overestimate how much time you have. You will only have a fraction of the time you think you have. I'm not saying that to scare you. Just do as much work as you can, as early as you can, and however long you think you have to do a thing, halve it. Just know that you may not have as much time as you think. Life likes to life, and it tends to life hard at Christmas. But that's okay, because it does so with glitter and panache. And the 7th tip is gifting. Etsy loves gifting. Why? Because buyers love gifting. Okay, now to be fair, gifting won't be applicable to all niches. For example, supplies. You can't really make gifting out of supplies, and your customers won't be expecting you to, so you don't have to worry about that if that is your niche. However, if you're in the vintage or the handmade categories, then people will be coming to you for gifts, and if they're not, there are things that you can do about that so that they do. So a lot of our products can be sold as gifts as they are, but just in case they can't, sometimes you can bundle items from your shop to create a gift set. And so, for example, if you sell jewelry and you have necklaces, and you can take a few of those things and put them together to make a nice gift set. Not only does that mean that you can charge a bit more for the item, but it means that the buyers feel that they're getting more for their money, and it just makes it a little bit more special too. Now, one thing I like this as a buyer, so I think this is something that we should really try and make use of as sellers as well, and I count myself in this. Consider setting up a photograph of your item or your items as if they have just been opened, as if they have been unboxed, or even with gift wrap if you offer it. Because what that does, it kind of puts in your buyer's mind that not only is this a gift, but they look further down the line after they have gifted it to their special someone, how that special someone might feel once they've opened it. It plants the seed in their mind of, this is a really nice gift. And again, from my own buyer behavior, I've noticed that if I can see and imagine the thing as a gift, and I can imagine the person that I'm buying it for opening it, I'm more likely to buy. Another thing you can do is consider offering gift wrapping to your customers. But if you do offer gift wrapping, make sure that you also put that in the photographs. I know I keep coming back to the photographs, but they really are the workhorses of your listing and they get vastly overlooked. And I'm speaking from experience. And the last tip with regards to gifting is think about who your item might be a good gift for. In the Etsy trends video I did, I talked about how Etsy have seen an uptick in searches for things like gifts for mum, gifts for sister, gifts for football lover, gifts for gardener, that kind of thing. People are looking for certain kinds of gifts for certain kind of people. So think about what sort of people might be looking to buy your product, because if you have something that is a good fit for a gardener, for example, it won't necessarily just be gardeners who will be searching for that gift. You could have someone who's never grown a plant in their lives, no interest in it whatsoever, but they might be looking for the perfect gift for someone that does enjoy that. So just be mindful that the person that you think your product is for may not always be the person who's buying it. Okay, moving on. All right then, so right at the beginning I said that I was going to give you 7 ways to plan for the holidays, and I have. But here's a bonus tip. You're not going to like it though, because it's a boring one. Check your policies. I know. Doing something as simple and boring as this can save you so much time, stress, and even money further down the line. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. All you've got to do is read over them right now after you've watched this video, if you like, and ask yourself some questions. If a buyer was to buy from you and want a refund, would they be able to understand from your policies what they have to do? Do they have to pay return postage? Do they have to return it within a certain amount of time? Do you even accept refunds for this thing that they've bought? What about if they've received something damaged? Do you require a photograph of proof before you give a refund? These are the sort of things that should be in your policies. And remember, there's always the photographs. If you have any important information, that's usually the best place to put it. If you got any use out of this video, I would love it if you would give it a thumbs up, because it really does help support me. And if you didn't, well, tough. I've made it now. Maybe this video will be better. If not, I got nothing. Sorry. And for the rest of you, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.